It's another week and another brand new episode of the Granny Panty Podcast. I'm your host, Ruby If you'd like to follow me on social media and my site, you can go to RubyLynne, RubyLynne.com. It's all things Ruby. So make sure you go check it out. Also, I'd love for you to click subscribe, like, and comment on my videos here on YouTube. Every subscriber matters to me, and so I appreciate you all. This week's guest is a mature creator who got into this business through comedy. She started by making funny comments on Twitter and tweeting things about her ride into the city, into New York City on the subway. Just funny things she saw, which evolved into some triple X. Everybody kept asking her for pics and vids. And so she gave them what they wanted, started an OnlyFans, and has been wildly successful. I can't wait for us both to get to know Whatever Amy today. I'm so excited to have you on the show today, Whatever Amy, and I want to find out about your story. I became aware of you recently when I was on a podcast and the guests were calling in and talking about you. So I was like, I need to know who this person is. So thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to this. So
Same. I can't wait to get to know you more. Our mutual friend, Lainey, talks about you and just how you've really blown up and created this huge fan base. And so I can't wait to hear from the beginning to current of how you got started.
yeah, definitely.
So, how did you get started? It looked like 2015. I read your bio.
Yeah, so I really just went on Twitter. I was going through a divorce in 2015 and I just started, hanging out on Twitter and just tweeting about my day and my commute to the city and all of the disgusting people I came across. And it just started building, followers of people liked, my self-deprecating tweets. And it really grew and grew and grew. And everything else has been a product of Twitter. So
Okay.
I started my YouTube channel as an extension of my Twitter so people could get to know a little bit more about me as a person, not just that sarcastic girl on Twitter. And then, I've had over 100,000 followers on Twitter when I decided to, start my subscription sites on a whim. And it just has kind of snowballed.
That's exciting. Yeah, that was going to be my question is what came first, the triple X content or the comedy? So sounds like the comedy.
Yes, definitely.
So tell me about that transition. So you start tweeting this stuff, and I'm sure your follower count just kept building and building and building. And how did you feel about that?
It was definitely, people tell me they're like, you're Twitter famous. And I was like, I don't know what that means. Like I'm, still going to the grocery store every week. No, you know what I mean? So it's wild. People are really fun and there's some really funny and clever people on Twitter. And, I just, just kind of use it as my outlet. And, it's really just a fun way of kind of getting your, thoughts out and just showing a little bit of a different side.
Right, right. And then how did you transition into the adult? Were people like hounding you on Twitter? Do you have an OnlyFans? Do you have a fan site? Where can we see
Yeah.
more of you?
So you can find all my links at whateveramy.com. But I started OnlyFans kind of on a whim, and people were always asking to buy my pictures on Twitter. And I really wasn't posting anything, racy, just maybe some selfies here and there. And I was like, well, and then I started seeing all of these, funny, beautiful women that I follow on Twitter starting OnlyFans. And I'm like, wow, like maybe it is a thing. Like I really didn't know anything about it. And I really have always been a sexual person. So to have this outlet is so fun and so liberating to me. So it just kind of, I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? I could totally just humiliate myself and bomb, but it was quite the opposite. It like exploded, blew up.
That is cool. And
Yeah.
when did you start your OnlyFans during the COVID lockdown in 2020 or?
did at the very end of July. I started it,
Okay.
and it's been strong
You
ever
got it
since.
at a good time.
I did. It was. I didn't know what to expect. I
Mhm.
did not know what to expect, and then all of a sudden, I just boom, everybody was there, and I'm like, okay. And I really didn't know what direction I was going to take it in. So if you scrolled all the way back to the beginning of my OnlyFans, you would see very demure pictures, and then I sold my first topless one, and it had such a great positive vibe about it, and everybody loved it. So I was like, oh, I guess maybe I could delve a little deeper, and I could try
Mhm.
this. And then finally I was just like, it's all out there. Like, I love it.
Right, and I don't know about you, but for me to see those unlocks is addicting. It's like I send out a video and it's like, how many unlocks in the
Yep.
first,
Mhm.
3 hours?
Yeah, and I'm like, really? Like, really? Wow. Like, they really like it. And it makes you feel really good that people like,
Yes.
your content. And, I try and answer everybody. I answer all my messages myself on all my sites, which is a
Mhm.
full-time job as it is.
Yes.
And people appreciate that. You can tell I'm the same person in real life as I am online, and getting to know people on a personal level. I think that's what OnlyFans is really all about, is that connection.
Yes. And having, you said coming out of a divorce. I know when I got divorced after a 15-year long abusive marriage and it was just a nightmare. Holy heck. I mean, if there'd have been OnlyFans back then in 2004, I
Yeah.
would have been making bank because
Yeah.
that was my sexual liberation. I mean, holy moly. I saw a therapist during that time, that transition time too, and he was like, "You're on spring break. Like, you've never been on spring break in your life." So
It's very true. That poor guy that was the first one that I slept with after I got divorced, man, he definitely went through the ringer with me. I was like, was a lion pouncing on an antelope. So,
I love it. I love it. Well, that's a cougar. You gotta be a cougar.
very true. Very true.
So you transition from, the comedy, more, comedy into the triple X. Have you just stayed with OnlyFans, or are you on live cam? Do you do camming? Anything else?
No, I don't do camming. I have OnlyFans and I have loyal fans, and I'm on Playboy Centerfold. And I really just stick with that. I do contemplate. I get a lot of requests to do video chatting and
Mhm.
camming, and I just, I don't think I consider it here and there. I'm like, oh, that might be really fun, and I don't know. I just haven't really um, delved into that. I really haven't even looked into it either. It's a little bit of laziness as well,
Mhm.
to kind of get myself started, but I'm on the fence.
Yeah, it's easy. Skype. Skype is your friend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume that you were able to quit that job that you were commuting into the city, or do you still work a vanilla job?
I do. I just, my feeling, people ask me this all the time, like, why in the world are you doing this? Because I do very well in my other outlets, but I just feel like, what, it could all come to an end at any time.
Right. Right. Right.
So, and if I can do both, then why not?
I did both for 2.5 years. I was a social worker and, had a corporate job and got started doing the triple X stuff early 2020. And I was able to juggle those two for 2.5 years until it became to a point where neither job was getting 100%.
Right.
And once my income outpaced, from the triple X side, outpaced the social worker side, I was like, I'm out of here. I think that the thought that it could end at any time is true, but also sometimes you gotta take that chance.
I know. And as many risks as I've taken, I'm still not there yet, I think. And
Yeah.
I make way more money in my other outlets than I ever did in my corporate job. So,
Mhm, mhm.
but
So,
okay for now.
it's good for now and balancing that. And so what are you doing going forward? Do you have new projects coming out? Tell me about what 2023 is gonna be for you.
I am kind of trying to revamp my brand and really do some different things on my YouTube channel and really bring people a little more intimate side of me in my life and my lifestyle. I feel like I'm kind of unique in the aspect of just how this all kind of came about.
Mhm.
I'm just looking to just keep going and keep having fun. And, I'm open to new projects. I get offers a lot to do different collabs with different, merchandising and branding. So
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to, 2023. So there are a few projects in the mix, but different than what I've been doing now.
Gotcha. And do you shoot only solo or do you collab with other performers?
I do both. I collab with other performers and I do solo.
So your page, we can find boy, girl, 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 solo?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, awesome. And how was that the first time that you shot your very first collab for your OnlyFans? Tell me about that experience.
I got really lucky because I worked with someone who, had OnlyFans for quite a while, and she was so awesome and so professional. You can find her on Twitter. She's at Lovely Bree Loves D, the letter D. And she is, we had been friends on Twitter for a while, and I was going to be in California. So I'm like, let's make this happen. And she was awesome. She was like a film director. She's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how I usually do things. What do you want to get out of this? And we just rolled with it, and it was awesome. Like I wish she lived closer so we could hang out and work together again. But she really made my first experience awesome. And that was also my very first girl experience at all. So
Mhm.
it was kind of a double whammy.
That is
Yeah.
cool. That is cool. How about your first boy, girl? Did you work with other talent or was it someone you knew and said,
Someone
"Hey,
I
sign
knew. Someone I
sign
knew.
this
Yes.
2257 for me?"
You need your ID, sir. But but the first time putting that out there
Mhm.
and letting the whole world see you in your most vulnerable moment
Mhm.
is really daunting. I'm like, oh, I was very, very nervous that first pay per view that went out with Boy Girl.
Mhm. Mhm. And do the people who are close to you in your life, do they know what you do? Like your friends, your girlfriends?
Nope.
No one knows.
No.
Ooh, you're better than me at keeping that secret then.
I mean, I'm 46. It is what it is. But, I just, am having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you worry about being outed to friends
Um,
and family?
no, I mean, like I said, of a certain age, and
Yeah,
it is what it is. I don't really owe anyone an explanation, and I'm
that's
just
true.
running with it. Yeah.
That's a good attitude. That is. Yeah, we were outed to our family, and that was an interesting experience. Thankfully, they all but one embraced it, so
That more and more. I hear that more and more people are just, more accepting these days than they were, years ago. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What do you think your biggest challenge is in this business?
I think it's curating a variety of content to keep, I like to cast a wide net. But when
Mhm,
doing that, you have to please a lot of different genres that people like.
mhm,
And learning about different fetishes and learning about different kinks and, things that people, I'm always interested to hear when someone has a new request for something. And I'm like, oh, is that a thing? Like, oh, okay, and it could be something as simple as, you know, standing there in a dress, taking the dress off and still wearing heels and then, performing a solo act. It seems so simple, but to someone who's looking for it, it's like they're like so turned on by that.
mhm.
So I've been learning a lot, these past few years.
That is true. I'm right there with you because in the beginning, I get requests for fetishes. Like I did a whole giantess series and someone requested it. I didn't know a thing about giantess, 3 years ago. I'm like, I need to do some research on that. So, yeah, you do end up learning a lot when you do this job,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing your own editing, you're filming
Mhm.
it. I just think about kind of rewinding to what you said, if everything blows up, and one day I'm like, yeah, if like OnlyFans went down and we didn't have that, I think I could go to work for a marketing firm.
Right.
I can edit, I can market, I know Instagram. It's like,
You're not going to find anything super fancy on my page because I do it all myself and I film mostly on, tripods and my iPhone. So if you're looking for the studio porn, you're not going to get it. But I feel like that realness is something that
Mhm.
people, also enjoy as well. Because I love amateur porn. So if it's real, that's what I like.
I think the guys do choose amateur over pro a lot. I mean, there's definitely people that love studio produced
Yeah,
pro
absolutely.
stuff, but my stuff that's been professionally shot doesn't sell as good as the iPhone tripod.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
so it is interesting. Shot a few scenes, had someone professionally do them,
Mhm.
and yeah, they don't sell as much. It's kind
Interesting.
of
I do
funny.
sometimes wish I had like that extra person to like zoom in on certain things that I can't
Yes,
get, even when I'm holding the camera, but
right.
it's a work in progress.
Yeah, and finding someone that you can train to be your, videographer, that's what I did, and so my partner is my videographer and shoots, all my scenes, but it was like, "Okay, you need to learn everything about shooting," because
Right. We can't
I
have
personally
shaky.
don't yeah, I don't like static, where it's just one angle, so,
Yeah.
yeah, find someone that'll be your video person. That'll be fun. What do you think's the most important lesson you've learned over all
Um,
this?
I would say, you know what, just be true to yourself and don't be afraid to take risks. And, you have to have a thick skin as well.
Yeah.
So, if, you're not willing to take the bad with the good, then maybe this isn't for you. And if you want to make money like it's a business, you have to treat it like a business.
Absolutely. And did you go into it treating it like a business from day one, or did that kind of evolve?
No, I just was like, all right, let me try. And then it became a business. And I'm like, oh, I better get my stuff together like really fast.
Mhm,
And, I had to really get organized very quickly.
mhm.
And then it just kept going.
Yeah, and finding a mentor, you said you had a mentor that kinda helped you along. That's invaluable. I actually hired a coach, an OnlyFans coach,
Oh,
because
wow.
I had an original OnlyFans account and it didn't make money. I was doing
Mhm.
everything wrong, and then I think it was fall of 2021, I was like, "Okay, I'm leaving money on the table here. I need to figure out how to run this." So, yeah, aligning with someone that makes good money and knows what they're doing is important.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many allies out there. I run a chat room for creators and we just kind of bounce ideas off each other. I'd love to invite you on as well. And we just kind of, we talk about different requests or, hey, what would you charge for this? Or is OnlyFans not working right now? And bounce ideas off of each other. And it's a really good place to just kind of find support. And, sometimes we complain about the crazy things that are happening to us at times. And it's just a really good supportive environment. And I think that's so important.
Yes, I am in a coaching group, my mentors group, and it is invaluable. Even if you're having a bad day and it's
Yeah.
like, I didn't get any unlocks today. Is it slow for anybody else or do they just all hate me? It's like
Aw.
it's kind of funny, tongue in cheek type stuff,
Yeah,
but
absolutely. Absolutely. And, it's a good place to kind of, hey guys, can you retweet this for me? Every once in a while, if someone's having like a big promo. But really, it's just getting a lot of advice and a lot
yeah.
of, hey, what have you done that's worked?
Mhm.
Or is anybody, I was approached by this site. Has anybody worked with them before? So
Right.
there's a lot of, good information that's out there.
I love that, and I love collaborating, and I love sharing information. I mean, for me, my forward trajectory, I think, will be coaching.
Mhm.
Um, where do you see yourself, say, in 3 to 5 years?
Ugh, I'm not really sure. I could see myself doing more on the back end of things like coaching or
Mhm.
design or something like that. I think YouTube is really, I have the most followers on YouTube. And, I think getting that I'd love to have 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And that's, I
Right.
think, one of my goals. So really making that channel really stand out is
Mhm.
definitely one of them.
That's good, and you're smart because it's smart to have a non-sexual, place for people to find you because
Yeah.
it typically, it's gonna funnel over to the triple X, but it makes you well-rounded.
Yeah, and believe me, YouTube is a hard lesson to learn. I had my hand slapped on there a couple times trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
and it's definitely I had someone that was really helpful to me for a while and taught me a lot of things about YouTube that I would have never figured out on my own. And now it's just kind of, I think I'm just steering the ship.
Yeah, it is definitely a hard nut to crack. Before my sex worker life, I had a YouTube channel, a vanilla YouTube channel, and so thankfully I kinda knew about it, but still, even now, people think you're gonna post a video and start making money on YouTube.
No.
Oh, no, 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 no. You got a lot of hoops to jump through,
Yeah,
but
and it was so funny. I really didn't pay attention to my YouTube channel. I just put up like one or two videos, and they're like, "Oh, in order to get monetized, you have to have 10,000 hours and so many subscribers." I'm
Mhm.
like, that's never going to happen." Then all of a sudden, I got an email saying you will be monetized, and I'm like, "Wait!" So I'm like, "Where's that channel?" Like, I had to like go look
That's
for it,
so
and I'm like,
funny.
Where did I get all these people?" And it was just, I think I did a cooking video and some sort of introduction thing, and it just skyrocketed and blew up. And I had over 100,000 followers in less than a year.
Wow, that's great. Tell me about your YouTube channel. I took a little peek at it. It looks like some try-on videos, but what is the theme of your YouTube channel? Tell us about it.
It's a more in-depth look at my life off of Twitter. I do the Q&As. Like, I started on Twitter. I used to do Saturday speeches where I would answer 3 questions that followers had sent to me, and I started that because I'd be getting all the same questions. So I'm like, let me just answer them all at once. And that
Mhm.
was really popular. So I kind of broadened that. I do cooking segments of things that I grew up eating or that I like to make. And I like things that are, quick and easy and not too involved. And I do, different try ons, but I like them to be informative. So I did a bra try on because you'd be surprised how many people don't understand the difference between the number and the letter in a women's bra sizing. Like, people think
Yeah.
they're paying me a compliment and they're like, "Oh, what are you, a 48 triple Z?" And I'm like, "What?" That is not even close. So I explain, things and the different types of bras and the different, support and I like to do things in an informative way. So even though I am trying things on and being, fun and flirty, there's a kind of a little information behind it as well.
That's cool. I love that. Kind of like, women's empowerment, women's wellness, and add a little comedy in there.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy? Since you built your brand on comedy and you're sexy and you never
Thanks.
know.
I feel like I would be very comfortable standing up in front of a group. I have no issues public speaking, and I just don't know if I am creative enough to write out a whole segment. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? One liners are easy, and it's usually because I'm looking at something in disgust and I can complain about it. But I don't know if I have enough creativity to, have a whole set.
Mhm, mhm. Well, if you being so close to New York City, that's the comedy central.
Very true. Very true.
Probably an open mic on every corner.
I think so. I think that's a lot big. It's very competitive.
It is, that is for sure. So with a full-time job and doing this, tell us how you schedule out your week, or how do you schedule out your shoots or your content uploads? D
So
do you keep a calendar? Is it just off the fly? Tell us about that.
I usually stockpile a lot of my content so I don't have to be shooting every day. And even before I started my OnlyFans, I made sure that I had a good amount of images and videos already so that I wasn't, as I was navigating through these new waters, that I still had stuff to put out there. But, I don't do things every day. I usually just plan ahead, like, all right, I'm going to set this hour aside for this, this, and this. I have a list of, kind of a to do list, and I'll just plan my week around what I have to do that week. Or if there's any like holidays coming up or, special theme things that I'm doing. YouTube is definitely the hardest to create for.
Mhm, mhm.
It's easy being naked, but on YouTube. You have to have quality, and you have to, have, something that's going to retain your subscribers. And that I find is the most challenging site to create for.
Gotcha. How often do you post on your YouTube?
I'm really bad about it. I'm so bad about it. I am. And everyone's like yelling at me, like, where are you? So I just moved, so now I'm going to get back in the swing of things. And, I posted something maybe like a month or two ago. Sorry.
No, that you know, sometimes it's hard to have something every single week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I tried that and it was just too much. It was exhausting. And I think I was saturating the market with myself.
Gotcha.
So, but I really have to get back on the horse.
I think for me, the biggest challenge with YouTube is the editing. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I can edit a solo masturbation vid in like 5 minutes, but, to edit, like the whole podcast, I want it to be smooth and flow, and there's just so much more to it than turning the camera on and
Yeah.
masturbating.
Yeah, no, there's definitely more. I mean, even then, you're not going to find anything really fancy on my YouTube channel because I'm just, editing on an app and I'm filming on my iPhone. And people will make comments. They're like, "Why isn't this in whatever film speed?" I'm like, "I don't know. Ask Apple. Like, I can only
Right.
do so much. So I should probably invest in some better cameras."
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, we film all of our content on an iPhone.
See, I don't know what everyone's complaining
Everything.
about.
And we have the big expensive, like, digital camera thing, and to be honest, we get way better quality off our iPhone. And it's just so much easier because, like, I'm all Apple, so I can airdrop my file to my laptop, you know. iPhone's just fine. Some of the biggest, most money-making creators film on iPhones only.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's fine. I don't know, how everyone's so picky.
Yeah, and if they're really asking, I don't know, if they're asking and being that critical, do I want them there anyway? Maybe not, right?
Like, no one is forcing you to watch this video. Like, and now you're complaining about it and making engagement on my page, and I'm getting paid for that. So what are you doing? What is your
Right. Bring it on. Complain to me all you want about about an iPhone.
and enjoy the next one that's on an iPhone.
That's right. That's right. By the way, I can help you with your settings if you want.
Oh,
We
okay.
can chat offline. So tell me about a time, like what was your biggest failure? Something that you planned or a shoot that just didn't go right. I want to hear.
um, I always laugh that I should make like a blooper video of like
Mm.
all my failed scenes, me falling off the bed and, trying to be really sexy and just whacking my head on something. Um, the ending didn't time out correctly. We were supposed to do a facial and whoop, cream pie surprise, it's it's I definitely think I should do a blooper because those are the ones. And it's usually if I've had a few too many glasses of wine and I think I'm being really, really sexy. And I look the next day and I'm horrified at what I recorded. I'm like, this should never, ever, ever see the light of day because it's just sloppy and messy and not cute.
That's funny. Is there any one scene that stands out in your mind that went wrong?
I think it would be the one we were filming in my old living room. And we were going at it really, really hard. And I thought I was being really sexy. And, he was behind me. And I'm like arching my back. And, I'm in my 40s. So, I haven't done yoga in a long time. And I'm arching my back and I'm looking back at him and I'm being so like what I thought was super sexy. And my back went out and I was like crippled. I was like, we have to stop everything. Touch me, get away. I like couldn't even stand up. It was horrible. I like needed traction. It was terrible.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it
Um,
was good.
Sell the bloopers. The bloopers sell.
I think they would be really fun. I have to go through, but I definitely have a lot of, outtakes.
Yeah, definitely sell the bloopers. I remember, early on in our career, we were doing a doggy, like a hard doggy pounding railing scene, da 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 da, and it's at the end, and I go to flip over, and I expelled the largest queef I think I've ever caught on camera, and then we both start laughing, and, like, we cannot stop laughing, like, it just completely ruined the whole mood. That video, I sold that as a blooper, so and it sold
That's
so
so
many
funny.
times to it.
It's awesome.
That brings I mean, when you say in the description, like, "I had my back blown out," there is no lie there. That is
That's
the
true.
truth.
Not false advertising. You are correct.
Let's get your marketing going there. 'Cause you know how guys are always and on OnlyFans, they'll message you and go, "Oh, I wanna blow your back out." Well, you can say,
Like,
"You wanna really see me blow my back out?"
yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so true. That is so true. Yeah. But that was definitely a very memorable moment.
Well, I hope it didn't take you too long to recover, 'cause that
I
could
was
be a
sore
work
for like over a week.
I was gonna say that there's no workers' comp in this job,
No,
darn it.
no, I was definitely sore for a good amount of time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to rethink my business pursuit here.
It's funny you say that. On a different episode I recorded here recently, talking with another mature creator about, being over 40. I'm 56, so over 50 even. I'll shoot with younger creators, and they want these positions, and I'm like, "This bitch's knees do not bend like that." Like, I cannot do the pose where the guy's laying and then you're squatted over the top of him. I'm
You get
like, "I
like
can't
30
squat
seconds.
down."
30 seconds. Like if I film on the couch and I like flip around, I'm like, oh my God, my thighs are burning. I'm like, oh, I gotta go back to the gym. It's, those days are
Yes.
over.
Yeah, I'm like, "That position doesn't exist in my in life, so
Right.
that will not happen."
I'm like, I am definitely not fit enough to continue doing this. You get 30 seconds. That's it. We may revisit it in another 2 minutes, but right now it's 30 seconds.
That's
It's
right,
a
that's right.
concentrated 30 seconds.
So, yeah, it's funny. It's like, you shooting with a mature creator? Yeah, some things are not gonna happen. What would you tell your younger self? Knowing what you do now, Amy, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Probably to take up jogging a little earlier in life and, invest a little more a little earlier in life. But, there's a lot of things, you always say you'd go back, what would you do differently? But then my life wouldn't have turned out how it is now. I think I would tell myself to, speak up a little more for yourself and don't date probably a third of the guys that you date in the next few years.
Yeah, I hear you. Make better better men choices.
Better choices.
I hear that frequently from my mature ladies I have on the show. I think it was Sarah J that said recently, "I would tell myself not to get married."
Yeah, I mean, it's live and learn, but I think, yeah, I would start with the guys.
That's what I love about being a mature creator, and also that I chat with mature creators, is because I think our life experience is what makes us unique and
Hmm.
brings a whole different perspective to this industry. So, we definitely have seen some things at our ages.
Oh yeah, yeah. Every once in a while, I'll get a message from a Marine or whatever, and I'm like, I banged a few of those in my day. No
Yeah,
worries.
right.
Semper Fi. Semper Fi.
Next,
Yeah.
next. So, as we close out, I love to ask my guests about a granny panty tip of the week. So, if you had one tip to give, either about getting into the industry or juggling a full time vanilla job in the industry, what's a great tip you have for other creators?
I would say, map it out and decide what your audience is going to be, what your genre is going to be, and, keep a calendar, be organized, have a plan, stockpile as much content as you can when you can for those times when you can't.
Mhm.
And, I feel like if you want it to pay you like a business, you have to treat it like a business.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Good tip. I like that. The be organized. I'm always trying to be organized.
It comes in waves. Sometimes I'm really on top of everything, and other times I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're traveling. Are you doing any events? Going to any events this year?
I don't know. I might go to Exotica. Um, I'm thinking maybe Chicago or something, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, I'll be at Chicago Exotica,
Oh,
so
fun. All right.
I definitely want to meet you if you're there.
Yes, absolutely. That would be so fun. I love Chicago and the Palmer House. Love it.
And I highly recommend XBiz Miami. That if you want to connect with other creators, that's a good one as well.
Oh, awesome. Perfect.
So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for making the time to chat with me,
Thank
and
you. This was so fun.
it is fun, and I've had a good time getting to know you, and I look forward to more YouTube videos and
Thank you
just
so much.
watching you explode.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks again, Amy. I'll see you soon.
Thanks. Bye.